Today we wanted to give you some information in regard to your continuing medical education hours as well as your renewal. If you weren't aware, and many of you probably aren't, the renewal is now open through IDFPR for chiropractic physicians. So right now, today, you could go and renew your license. Now, if you're not aware, the deadline for renewing your license has been extended to September 30th of this year due to the pandemic. And so you have longer to not just renew your license, but also to obtain your continuing medical education credits. And so know that you have that extra time if you need it. But if you don't need the extra time and you don't want the extra time, you can actually go renew your license right now, today. I'll include that link as a part of this video. Now, other things that you need to know. One is you need 150 total hours of continuing medical education hours. And you want to make sure that all of that is documented because you have to attest to that when you actually renew your license. So you can't renew your license until you have the hours because that attestation requires that the hours be completed at the time of renewal. So what does that mean, 150 total hours? Well, that means of those hours, the maximum amount that can be soft hours or category 2 hours is 90. The very minimum that can be category 1 is 60. Now, you could take all 150 hours as category 1 or formal hours, but you don't have to. A minimum of 60 have to be that, and you have to get to the full 150. Again, document. Make sure you document both your soft hours, your category 2 hours, as well as your category 1 hours. We actually have forms that you can download online to help you track that. If all of your hours, you can actually online in your account with the Illinois Chiropractic Society, we track all of your hours that you take through us anyway, and you can add other courses in there if you want, just to add them to your transcript, so you have a quick, easy way to reference that and have all of that information at your fingertips through your account with the ICS. Now, what else has to be done? First of all, I want to make sure that you know that all of your hours can be done online. Now, they did make some changes to other professions. They didn't for physicians, for physicians, chiropractic physicians. Instead, we have always been, at least for a very long time, been able to take those hours for distance learning as well, including on-demand webinars, etc. So all of that's capable. And by the way, if you didn't know, ICS members, you can take those hours for free. And that matters. Again, you have till September 30, this renewal period. Other things, don't forget that you have to get your mandated sexual harassment prevention training done. That is also available at the ICS, through our on-demand platform. For ICS members, it's free. It is also available for non-members at a cost. You can go check that out. But that is mandated education. You have to have that done before you can renew your license this renewal cycle. And so don't forget to get that done before you renew as well. Let's see. Lastly, I want to make sure that everybody kind of understands a little bit how this process is, I think, going to work. Some of it we know for sure answers, and some of it we don't know for sure answers. And so what do we know? First of all, if you take hours after July 31st, and before September 30, and you wait to renew, let's say you wait to renew to the end of September, the hours that you take in August and September, you can't count them twice. In other words, if you count them for this renewal, you can't then again count them for the next renewal. You need to make sure that you have a firm cutoff, and you need to know where that cutoff is and make sure you track that in case you're audited. Second is, you also want to make sure that you understand that any additional education you take prior to August 1st. In other words, from here through the end of July, you can't count for the next renewal period. In other words, any courses that you take right now, for example, if you were to renew today and take a course tomorrow, that course will not count for next renewal cycle. That renewal cycle can't begin until August 1st. Now, here's what we don't know, as if you wait to renew till the end of September and you take courses that you don't necessarily need because you already have your 150 hours in August and September, we don't know how that will impact your next renewal cycle. We know that IDFPR will give us that clarity and that information in the coming weeks and months, and as soon as we have it, we'll share it with you and continue to follow many of our updates, and we'll get that cleaned up at the time. But hopefully that gives you really clear information on what all of this means. The other question that we get a lot, by the way, I want to make sure I cover this too, is, okay, what does this look like? Does this mean that our renewal cycle will always be September 30th? No. Actually, the way the variance reads, it is for this renewal cycle only. And so for the renewal cycle that will end in July 31st of 2023, that one will be back on its normal track. And so again, that's where all the 3-year period begins and ends, and it's just a temporary variance just for this particular renewal cycle that applies to chiropractic physicians. Hopefully this gives you a lot of information for your CME and answers a lot of your questions. And as always, you can always reach out to the ICS if you need for further clarification, further clarity. Look forward to hearing from you. Take care.